Ready? It's Mike Frick's bill, and this would make it easier for students who are away from home to make sure that they actually get to vote. In general, the idea of making sure that the newest participants in our democracy have a seat at the table sounds like a good one. Do you see any potential pitfalls or areas where people?
Well, I'm concerned about it in general. I mean, we've got high school kids that have turned 18 and they don't have any trouble finding the polling place. I don't think college kids who are motivated to vote have trouble finding the voting booth. So how far are we going to make this if a person doesn't want to vote, that they have to vote? This is a right. This is a freedom. And I don't believe we should mandate, certainly to local units of government, what hours and what locations that they have a voting booth.
Is this about participation, or is this about making sure that you've got this wealth of potential voters and you move them on election day?
I think this is about a wealth of voters who may philosophically agree with a party or a particular issue. I think this is trying to turn out your constituents, your supporters, for an election. And I don't think that's the responsibility of state government to be telling county government who should vote and how they should vote.
How much translation are you going to have? You got a kid who's out at NIU who lives in Naperville.
And that's right. So they should be voting in Naperville.
They're going to vote at the top of the. They're going to vote for president, maybe U.S. Senate. Are they really going to vote for DeKalb County corner?
They do that all the time. They're a partial ballot. They vote for those people that they know, they've seen TV commercial or radio commercials, and they don't vote for the local people. And that's where I come back and say the responsibility of the voter is to know the candidates, to know the issues, and then vote whatever you feel is the right person or the right issue. And here we're trying to just make it convenient so somebody will vote for the top of the ticket or vote for a particular philosophy that the advocates of this particular legislation may want. And I don't think that's the responsibility of state government to be doing that. We need to make it easy, we need to make it open, we need to educate people, but from then on it's the responsibility of the citizen to actually go and vote.
Anything else?
So were you going to also hit the other issue?
Which one? Racetracks?
No, I'm trying to remember.
University...
Oh, this bill.
This bill. The idea of doing away completely.
So we voted away with the General Assembly scholarships.
Yeah. The House did.
Right.
Now, whether it goes in the Senate, it's, I don't know. I've covered government a lot, and I always remember hearing the term, if the alderman wants it, that people who know their districts know what their district needs, know what their people need. And this to me seems almost like an and we wrote the stories on how they were abused.
Yes.
Is going too far, knee-jerk, or is this one of the things that the state really can't afford?
So the first comment I would make, of all the issues that our state is facing right now, I don't think this is at the top of the list. I think we ought to be talking about fiscal problems and how we fund universities. My reason in voting for this particular piece of legislation was exactly that. We're not funding public universities, and yet these scholarships create a liability for the university to cover, and therefore I said that's wrong in this particular time. But I don't know that my constituents, certainly I haven't heard from any constituents that say these scholarships aren't needed, that they feel I'm awarding them unethically. So it comes down to the real heart of the issue is how do we help our universities through this very difficult economic time?
If the state paid the universities what they owed them and it didn't cost $20,000 to go to the University of Illinois for 1 year, would there be such an uproar over?
No. I mean, clearly the state policy, by not funding the veterans grants, by not funding the General Assembly scholarships, by not funding the monetary assistance programs, or the budget of the university adequately, I think is part of the real issue here. And that clearly is another indication of the fiscal problems that we have in our state that we're not focused on, and we're not debating, and we're not making some real good long-term decisions about the policy of this state and how we ought to educate our citizens so that they can attract jobs and get some good paying jobs in this state. This is a jobs issue. Why aren't we paying our universities? Why aren't we educating young people? Why aren't we dealing with some of the right to work and workplace issues that would attract businesses to build, to expand, and to come to Illinois?
Because it's easier to fight about the politics.
That's right.
Anything else, Representative? Thank you so much. I appreciate it.